It is the dream of every boy, who has ever picked up a glove and a ball, and swung a bat, and raced around the bases to score the winning run. It is the dream to crush a fastball, to hit a home run. It is the dream to spear a line drive and rob a guy of a hit, to strike somebody out. It is the dream of every boy to play in the World Series and to win a championship. 2009 was a year in which dreams came true for the baseball team at the University of Virginia.
Under head coach Brian O'Connor, the Virginia Cavaliers averaged better than 43 wins per season over the previous 5 years. But even with that level of achievement, the 2009 campaign began with some measure of expected improvement. Younger players from 2008, including an all-freshman starting outfield, had an important year of experience under their belts, while first-year additions to the squad brought renewed optimism to one of college baseball's most successful programs. The Cavaliers marched through their opening 3 weeks like an unopposed conquering army, starting a perfect 9-0 at home and outscoring their visitors by a combined run total of 88-16. Known as a program characterized by great pitching, defense, and base running, the 2009 Cavaliers quickly established a devastating offensive punch. After an 18-2, 8-6, and 21-5 shellacking of Wake Forest in Virginia's first road trip and a 17-1 and 10-3 shelling of Navy and VMI, the Cavaliers faced their first significant homestand. 14th-ranked Florida State arrived at Davenport Field on Friday the 13th of March, hoping for some luck to slow Virginia's relentless bombardment of every opponent. But the Cavs got on the board quickly with some aggressive baseball in the bottom of the second. After Dan Grovad and John Hicks executed a double steal, Jared King delivered the game's first run with a bloop single to center. Franco Valdez drove in run number 2 with a grounder to short before John Barr capped off the 3-run inning with a line drive RBI single to right center. Freshman phenom Danny Hultzen was on the hill for the Cavaliers. At 3-0 with a 0.95 ERA, the Bethesda, Maryland native was off to an impressive start, but his outing against the Seminoles would be his first major test in the cauldron of big-time college baseball. Mixing his pitches and painting the corners, Hultzen delivered a masterpiece, striking out 13 and allowing only 4 hits and 1 run in 7 innings of work. Proof positive that the Cavaliers' arsenal of arms had a weapon of precise destruction. Leading 8-0 entering the bottom of the 6th, the Cavaliers added 5 more runs. When all was said and done, it was a 15-2 rout, Virginia's largest margin of victory ever against Florida State. The Cavs' record improved to 15-0 and 4-0 in the ACC, and the only bit of luck the Seminoles would enjoy on that Friday the 13th weekend was having the next 2 games rained out. After 3 more wins against Marshall, Canisius, and Wagner, the Cavaliers faced another tough ACC foe when the number 4 ranked Miami Hurricanes blew into Charlottesville. Miami ace Chris Hernandez entered the game a perfect 13-0 for his college career, and with the Canes leading 3-1 early, the All-American looked to extend his flawless record. But the Cavaliers tied the score in the bottom of the 3rd on Jarrett Parker's blast over the left center field wall. The homer was Parker's 4th of the young season and offered further evidence that an intense off-season weight training program was paying dividends for the lanky sophomore center fielder. In the bottom of the fifth, Phil Gosselin's sacrifice fly brought John Barr home and moved Parker to third. Then Dan Grovat's base hit to right made it 5-3. Like Parker, Grovat was a sophomore outfielder with greater strength and experience. Danny was also becoming one of Virginia's most consistent hitters, as his single extended a consecutive game hitting streak dating back to 2008 that matched the number on his back, 21. With another two spot in the sixth, the Cavaliers drove Hernandez from the game and dealt the previously unbeaten starter the first loss of his career. The 9-4 victory improved Virginia's record to an astounding 19-0, the longest winning streak in the country and the longest in school history. As the only remaining unbeaten team in Division I baseball, the Cavaliers' methodical ascent in the polls now had them ranked 7th in the nation. And when the team that looked like it might never lose a game finally did drop a few decisions, they were by the closest of margins. After a 4-3 loss to Miami ended the winning streak, 5th-ranked North Carolina eked out a pair of one-run wins in an evenly played series in Chapel Hill. In the Saturday afternoon affair, fourth-year righty Andrew Carraway was outstanding, holding the Heels to just one run in 7 innings. Carraway, the ultimate veteran, bypassed Major League Baseball to return to Virginia for his senior year. His contributions were enormous all season, and his victory at North Carolina on March 28th raised his record to 4-0 with an ERA of 1.8. Secure among the nation's top 10, the 23-4 Virginia Cavaliers began the month of April as a team that could win on the road and at home with great pitching, exceptional defense, and an offense geared to score runs in any number of ways. Another rising star was freshman third baseman Steven Procia. With a .333 batting average, 10 home runs, and 58 RBI for the season, Procia's bat was one of the powerful pistons driving Virginia's offensive engine. Like Hultzen, Procia was regarded as one of the nation's best rookies, and at the season's end, both players were named to the Louisville Slugger Freshman All-American team. Halfway into the season, there were indications that this Cavalier squad was destined to reach a level of excellence unattained by even the best teams in Virginia baseball history. Gosselin and Tyler Cannon, both hitting well above 300, grew to be an outstanding double-play combination, while catcher Valdez was rapidly maturing into one of the nation's most reliable backstops. With the Maryland Terrapins visiting Charlottesville on the first weekend in April, Valdez proved he was becoming as strong at the plate as he was behind the plate. The Miami native's grand slam helped lead Virginia to yet another series victory over an ACC rival and demonstrated again that the Cavaliers were deadly from every spot in the lineup. With Cannon at short, Gosselin at second, Parker in center, and Valdez handling one of the nation's strongest pitching staffs, the Cavaliers embodied the baseball axiom that outstanding teams are always strong up the middle. And like master chefs, Hultzen and Carraway's artistic presentation set the table for a bountiful pitching staff where opportunity and flexibility cooked up bushels of goose eggs for the opposition. O'Connor and his pitching coach, Carl Kuhn, worked the staff into successful combinations that saw 9 different Cavaliers start at least 2 games. One of the most versatile was sophomore Tyler Wilson, who finished the year 9-3 with a 2.97 ERA while pitching in a variety of roles out of the bullpen. Another sophomore and fellow Virginia native, Robert Morey, became a reliable starter, going 3-0 and striking out 84 batters in 67 2/3 innings. Thrilling come-from-behind victories also dotted the 2009 landscape of close battles and huge blowouts.
He may have just notched another one. That ball is out of here. Second home run of the series for Steven Procia.
On May 5th, the Cavaliers trailed Duke 9-3 with 1 out in their half of the 8th inning. Down 6 with only 5 outs remaining, Virginia staged a spectacular rally, scoring 5 times in the 8th to close to within 1 run of the Blue Devils.
Rounding third base and coming home is Grovat, and Virginia back to within 4. Pitch going to be swung on. This one's driven to center field. There's another base hit.
After Matt Packer and Kevin Arrico held the top frame of the 9th, Danny Hultzen led off the bottom half.
To get this lead, Hultzen swings at the first pitch he sees. He drives it deep to left center field. Goodbye! A leadoff home run from Danny Hultzen has knotted this game up at 9 runs apiece. How do you like that? The freshman delivers number 3 on the season, and we are all tied up.
After Holtzon's blast, Dan Grovat smashed a triple, and the Cavaliers were just 90 feet from matching their 6-run ninth-inning comeback against Georgia Tech in Atlanta a month earlier. 4 batters later, after a strikeout and a pair of intentional walks, John Barr produced the game winner.
This one swung on, bouncing ball is fair. That's going to do it. Virginia has climbed the mountain, coming from 6 runs down. They won it 10-9. John Barr will deliver the game winner in the bottom of the 9th inning.
But for all of the Cavaliers' heroics, dominance, and thrilling victories, there was no denying the daunting challenge of competing in the nation's deepest and most talented baseball conference. When Virginia squared off against 13th-ranked Clemson in the first round of the ACC Championship on May 21st, 6 conference teams were ranked among the nation's top 15. Clemson has long been a heralded program, and by the top of the 4th inning, when freshman outfielder John Hicks dug into the batter's box, the Tigers were leading 4-0.
John Hicks gives it a ride to deep left field. This one's out of here. Wow, over the blue monster, and it bounces off the bull.
Clemson scored once in the bottom of the 5th, pushing their lead back to 3, but the punch-counterpunch battle soon favored the Cavaliers.
RBI single for Dan Grovat. Now,
having battled back to take the lead, Virginia turned to Caraway, who was brilliant in his first relief appearance of the season. The right-hander retired the first 12 batters he faced, and in 4 1/3 innings, he struck out 7 and allowed only 1 hit.
Rocha skies one high into deep left center field.
Both teams entered the game with 39 wins, and with a 6-5 victory, Virginia reached the 40-win plateau for the 5th time in the previous 6 seasons. Next up was 4th-ranked North Carolina in the Friday night game. Most expected a classic pitching duel, and while Holtzon and Robert Poutier did their part, combining to allow UNC just 1 run on 5 hits, the other side of the ledger was a different story altogether.
Hicks lines one over the glove of Grapel. That'll score at least 1. Rocha, it's one to right. That's going to drop in. Another run is in.
Like a chainsaw, ripping through dry wood, the Cavalier batsman tore seam from hide and hammering out 9 hits in the 3rd inning alone. 15 Cavaliers stepped up to the plate, and 10 rounded the bases to touch the plate in the biggest 1-inning offensive explosion by a Virginia team in more than 8 years. With a 10-run, 11-1 lead after the 8th, only the conference mercy rule could stop the onslaught. The semifinal matchup against Duke was similar to Virginia's first game of the tournament. Trailing as they had against Clemson, the Cavaliers produced another impressive outburst in the 7th inning. In a rally that started with 2 outs, Virginia sent 11 men to the plate and scored 7 runs to establish a 9-4 lead that they would not relinquish. For the game, Franco Valdez and Kyle Werman each drove in a pair of runs, but it was Dan Grovat's explosive bat that produced the most fireworks. The New Jersey native went 4 for 5 with 10 total bases and 3 RBI, lighting up the Durham sky with 3 doubles and 1 home run. With 3 straight wins under their belts, the Cavaliers faced top-seeded and 7th-ranked Florida State for the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship. It was everything a title game should be, with the teams tied 3-3 after reliever Tyler Wilson worked his way out of a bases-loaded jam in the bottom of the 8th inning.
In the air, that might be a tough play, but the right fielder under it makes the catch. Dan Grovat. What a job by Tyler Wilson.
Then, in the top of the 9th, Phil Gosselin got aboard with a 1-out single, and after a seminal error and a pass to the red-hot Grovat, John Hicks stepped in with another chance to be a hero.
Ground ball, it gets through by Cardullo. Gosselin scores. The throw to the plate, not in time. Holtzon scores. Hicks down at second, and the freshman Hicks base hit has given Virginia the lead 5-3 here in the top of the 9th.
Needing 3 outs to claim the conference crown, Brian O'Connor gave the ball to Kevin Arrico, and the big right-hander delivered a perfect finale as he struck out the side.
Swing and a miss, strike three. That's 2 strikeouts for Kevin Arrico. And Virginia is 1 out away from the ACC championship. There it is! 3 strikeouts for Arrico, and the Cavaliers have won the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship. Congratulations to the Virginia Cavaliers, ACC champs.
When the NCAA tournament seedings were announced, Virginia fans were surprised to see their beloved ACC champions shipped to Irvine, California, into what was widely considered the most difficult regional in the country. But the Cavaliers welcomed the challenge to compete in what others were calling the region of death. Probably no team in America could have been better prepared to face the nation's best pitcher, Stephen Strasburg of San Diego State. With his 100-mile-per-hour fastball and pinpoint control, the eventual #1 overall draft pick was considered by many to be the greatest pitcher in college baseball history. But Virginia was not to be intimidated.
Swinging at the first pitch, he drives this deep to left. Way back it goes. That ball is on its way. It's out of here. A solo shot for Phil Gosselin off of Stephen Strasburg, and Virginia has taken a 1-0 lead on the 6th long ball of the year from Phil Gosselin.
An early 2-0 lead was all that Robert Morey and the bullpen needed. Racking up 9 strikeouts along the way, Morey held San Diego scoreless through 6 complete, and with 3 more runs in the 8th, the Cavaliers dealt Strasburg his first collegiate loss in more than a year. Having beaten the nation's #1 pitcher, Virginia next took on the nation's #1 team and regional host UC Irvine. But the Anteaters were unable to scratch out or dig up even a single run against the Cavaliers' clutch pitching combination of Hultzen, Wilson, and Packer. The West Coast teams were quickly discovering that long-running success was no elixir to Virginia's baseball formula. As unfamiliar as losing was to Strasburg, the inability to score was also foreign to Irvine, as the 5-0 shutout in Game 2 marked the first time the Anteaters had been blanked in more than 15 months.
Packer seals the deal, and the Cavaliers have won again.
With a chance to clinch and advance to the Super Regional, Virginia sent Andrew Carraway to the mound. The Atlanta native was again exceptional, limiting the Anteaters to 1 run on 4 hits in 7 innings. And his battery mate Valdez continued his torrid pace at the plate. With a double, a triple, and 2 runs batted in, Franco finished the 3-game series at 5 for 11 and was named the Irvine Regional Most Outstanding Player. Outscoring their opponents by a combined 14-2 margin, Virginia's bats and arms drew praise and admiration, and their flawless play in the field was underscored by back-to-back gems by Parker and Cannon in the final inning.
Cusick sends it deep in the hole. A backhand stab, and the throw to first in time. Tyler Cannon robs Jeff Cusick of a base hit, and the defense continues to sparkle.
From the frying pan of Irvine into the fire of Oxford, the Cavaliers enter their first ever Super Regional against the University of Mississippi in the Rebels' raucous home ballpark. After a barn burner in Game 1 captured by Ole Miss with a walk-off 12th inning homer, the Cavaliers had their backs against the wall. Their only chance now of advancing to the College World Series was to win back-to-back games in the most hostile road environment they had ever encountered. Trailing 2-0 in the 3rd, John Barr walked and stole second, one of 5 Virginia stolen bases in the game, before Tyler Cannon drove him in with a single up the middle. 1 inning later, Barr followed a Hultzen single with an opposite field double to tie the game at 2.
Right field line. That's going to be an easy way to score for Hultzen.
Mississippi regained the lead 3-2, and the Cavs were 5 outs away from elimination when Valdez stepped in with Hultzen at second and Procia at first.
This one swung on. It's rolled over to right field. That should score a run. We are all tied up.
Then the fleet-footed Barr came through again, beating out a fielder's choice to give Virginia the lead. The nail-biter continued into the 9th when Matt Packer came in with 1 out and a Mississippi runner on 3rd. But after a shallow fly to center, Packer nailed down the victory with a grounder to second baseman Kyle Werman.
In the 9th inning, the Cavaliers will seal the deal.
In the deciding game, Ole Miss jumped out to an early 1-0 lead, but the Cavaliers again used their speed and base running skill to tie the game in the fourth after a Gosselin-Grobat double steal. It was grand theft baseball for Virginia with 12 stolen bases in the Super Regional Series, including 6 in Game 3. Stephen Prosch's theft of second helped ignite a 3-run rally in the fifth that gave Virginia a commanding 4-1 lead.
Base hit for Gosselin. Rounding third, John Barr.
As they had done so many times throughout the 2009 season, Virginia's bullpen snuffed out the opposition. Coutier, Wilson, and Packer combined to yield only 1 run in 8 innings, then left it to Kevin Arrico to close the door in the final frame.
Arrico is ready. The pitch. That's strike 3 on the outside corner. Virginia wins. The Cavaliers are going to the College World Series. Omaha, here we come. A dog pile on the pitcher's mound, and you can celebrate it in Charlottesville. Virginia's going to the World Series.
With a record-setting 48th victory of the season, the Virginia Cavaliers had earned their first trip ever to the College Baseball World Series. For head coach Brian O'Connor, it was the sweetest of homecomings. The Omaha, Nebraska native not only grew up just miles from Rosenblatt Stadium, but also pitched and won in the 1991 World Series. For the National Coach of the Year, however, this trip was most precious for delivering his own Virginia team to college baseball's most hallowed ground. It was a thrill unlike any ever experienced by a Virginia baseball team.
Right-hander delivers. This one swung on, hit hard deep to left center field. That ball's going. It is gone.
The Cavaliers faced LSU, Cal State Fullerton, and Arkansas, and in beating and eliminating number 2 national seed Fullerton, Virginia ran its team record win total to 49 games. For the season, the Cavaliers established 11 school records, including most runs, hits, and strikeouts, and the pitching staff finished the year ranked 3rd in the nation with an ERA of 3.23. With that mark, a .327 team batting average, and a total of 119 stolen bases, Virginia became the first ACC team in 55 years to lead the conference in all 3 categories. Individual awards and accomplishments were plentiful as well, but it was the collective success and the never-say-die attitude that distinguished this year for the Cavaliers. In a lineup that routinely featured at least 7 underclassmen, this roster's journey into manhood took a giant leap forward. And for boys that once dreamt of winning championships and playing in a World Series, 2009 was the dream season for Virginia baseball.